Hello, welcome to the Nerdy Folks Podcast, a conversation about the nerdy things we love and the things that matter most. My name is Matthew Seipel Anderson, and I am joined again today by
Ethan Palmer.
We are the hosts of the Nerdy Folks Podcast. We love this community, and we're glad you are with us today. It's been fun doing the show with Ethan rather than Katie, my wife.
It's been here. One of these times in the beginning, you guys usually say, I'm Matthew Seipel Anderson, and I'm Katie. I'll say, I'm not Katie Seipel Anderson.
Right.
We'll just lead into that way. There's the new intro.
Well, today we're going to talk about video games again. This is the second episode in our video game series. Ethan's going to give us a Helldiver update because he's into that video game, and that's blowing up right now. It's huge. We're going to talk about some video game history and what video games are the highest grossing of all time, so kind of fun. And some favorite VR games, and also asking the deep question, is life just a simulation? Is it all just a game? What does it all mean? Why am I here?
Mr. Anderson is beginning to believe.
So, talk to us about Helldivers, because there has been a big update you were telling me about.
Yeah, so this past week, our biggest mission was to set up these, so the bad guy bugs are called terminids. We had to set up termicide towers, which if you put the equivalent in modern day war, it would be Agent Orange on a planet to wipe out the bugs, and it will have no future consequences whatsoever for the rest of the population of the planet.
Little roundup.
Exactly, a little roundup for the bugs. But there have been rumors that in individual games, shriekers have been showing up. Flying bugs, flying bat-like creatures swooping in on enemies, or I should say on players. And people have been asking the developers, like, hey, are you doing this? And they're like, no. According to the Ministry of Truth, those don't exist. They're not a thing. Bugs can't fly. But there's videos. There's videos out there.
That's pretty awesome. So they have their own Ministry of Disinformation.
Basically.
Call customer service to reach our Ministry of Disinformation.
Exactly.
That's pretty fun.
That's why this community is fun, is because people are kind of getting into that and pretending, and the developer's been dropping stuff like this, and it's really built the community as a whole. So
I actually have already forgotten, being that a week has passed. Is this a cross-platform game?
This one is, yes.
Okay.
Between PlayStation and PC, I believe. So
okay, cool. So if you're out there and you're curious, you can hop on via your computer.
Check it out.
Yeah. Well, I was doing a little research online, just kind of getting up on, what's hip in the video game world, and I came across some articles on the best-selling games of all time. They are not all the same, depending on where you look, because finding the information on sales numbers and stuff is a little tricky. But these are some of the biggest, and you'll definitely recognize them. And it's been fun talking with these. It's been fun talking about these with Ethan because he's got a lot of knowledge about them. So number 10 on our list, according to thegamer.com, is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Yeah, that one was great. I didn't actually play it myself, but I know a lot of people enjoy it, being able to, fight monsters, and the world was very, very world building. It has a great lore to it, so I know people love that one.
And of course, it's a highly successful series now I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah, the TV show.
Yeah.
I believe there are also Witcher books. I don't know what came first, though.
Okay. Number 9 is Overwatch.
Overwatch is great. A lot of people have heard of that one, too. It's a hero shooter team game where you're teamed up with five other players who have these characters with special abilities, like one's a tank, one's a healer, one's a sniper. They all have their own thing, and you work together to complete objectives against another team. Highly competitive. It is highly competitive.
Reminds me a lot of like RPG type thing.
Oh, yeah, because each person has a role to fulfill in the fight.
Yeah. Did this have a campaign mode, or was it just team against team?
It was just team against team, maybe different like team modes, like King of the Hill or Push the Cart, in which it was kind of like tug of war. You had to be in a zone
okay.
and follow it along the path and stuff like that.
Cool. Red Dead Redemption 2.
Another one I haven't personally played, but my friends have loved the storyline to it. It's very impactful, I guess. I'm not sure if it's like a story of redemption or, well, Red Dead Redemption. I didn't mean to say that. But, following a band of outlaws trying to complete jobs and heists and make money and live in a Western world.
Number 7, Super Mario Brothers. Not too surprising that Mario ends up on this list.
Oh, not at all. I mean, you probably could speak more to it than I.
Well, this one, yeah, definitely brings those of us who were playing video games on the original NES, definitely brings us back. I mean, it was the game that came with the system. So literally everyone played this along with Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt doesn't quite get the love. And I'll tell you why it doesn't get the love, because of that stupid dog that mocked you when you didn't hit the ducks.
Tying in later, there's a VR version of Duck Hunt.
Really?
There is.
Is the dog still there?
The dog is still in it because he's an icon.
Can you shoot the dog?
You can.
That's brilliant. You know what I loved about Mario was all the secret passages you could take to skip ahead levels. That
definitely.
added a layer of fun factor.
Definitely.
Speaking of Mario Kart 8 made the list.
Specifically 8, which
Yeah.
I found interesting. Not the original for N64. I don't know if that was even the original at that point. But Mario Kart 8, it's a lot of fun. I remember, I think my brother has this one. This one has a bunch of maps where you could like drive upside down and stuff, right? I think.
Is this the version that came out on the Wii?
The Wii or Wii U, I can see on the article there, it mentions the Wii U.
The Wii was just so big for like families and groups, and I remember having a lot of fun playing Mario Kart with buds.
Like split screen, sitting down, play. It was one of the first consoles, I want to say, that you could connect 4 controllers to, the N64. So you could do stuff like that instead of just you and one other person.
It was also awesome because you didn't have to be that good.
Right.
Like anyone could just hop on
And still have a good time.
Have a good time. You know, you could knock out your friend, and it was really easy, low stakes. The games like cycle through really fast, so just super fun for like sleepovers and just hanging out. So this is one I'm totally unfamiliar with. PUBG Battlegrounds.
PUBG, as it's known in the other game, the rest of the gamer world.
PUBG.
But I actually don't remember what the acronym stands for, so I can't speak too hard to it. But this was the first, before Fortnite was a thing, PUBG came out and was kind of the first battle royale type game. 100 people would drop into a map, all fighting to be the singular person left at the end. And then Fortnite kind of grabbed onto that idea and ran with it to where it is today, where it's like one of the most popular games.
Well, in the same vein as Mario Kart, Wii Sports.
Yeah, Wii Sports, as we were talking about a little bit earlier, Wii was pretty revolutionary when it first came out as being a movement-based thing. Like, I remember PlayStation actually had Dance Dance Revolution that you could get, but you were still stepping on a mat or whatever. This was the first, like, hand-controlled, wave your arms around sort of game system.
I still remember all the pictures and videos of people breaking their TVs because they threw the remote through the
They
TV.
forgot to put the wrist straps on. As it says in the instructions, you have to wear the wrist straps.
Yeah, like you turn the machine on and it tells you, put on the wrist strap. You will break your TV. I remember when Wii Sports was also kind of marketed as like a fitness thing.
Yeah, they had like the balance board and a couple other, there's like a hoop that you could buy that you would like flex your arms and like push the hoop around to do. I don't know it enough, but yeah, as a fitness thing, I guess. Again, very accessible to a lot of generations. So
I'm specifically remembering a few old ladies that I knew who got into it, and they would do like bowling.
Yeah.
And they could sit in their recliners, and they had the feel of how to do throw the ball just right with the Wii controller, and they rocked it at bowling.
yeah, making movement fun.
Next on the list, number 3, getting into the top 3 here, Tetris.
Yeah, a classic. I mean, really, really classic. The picture shows, I'm guessing that's the first Tetris that was made.
Yeah, gotta be.
But there have been so many renditions of it ever since.
Yeah. Estimated profit, $1 billion for the original, $2 billion overall.
So overall, that might include all the extra ones. The one that I remember playing was for PlayStation 1, and you had this little explorer dude that would wander around on the map, and the goal was to get him below a certain point on the map. But it was Tetris, so stuff would drop down, and whenever you removed a roll, he would fall closer to the goal. But there was a time limit because there were spikes on the ceiling that would come and slowly crush downwards.
Right.
To add that extra pressure. Wish I could find that one again.
I remember playing Tetris on NES. I also remember playing it on Game Boy. I think they had a Game Boy version.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And that was really fun.
I think recently, I remember seeing an article that Tetris had been beaten. Someone had beat Tetris.
Yes.
And he's like I don't know if he's a teenager or something like that, ended up going through and how do you beat Tetris? You just go enough until the computer says, nope, I'm done.
Number 2, breaking the mold, where usually in a video game scenario, you play as the hero. Here's a game where you play as the villain, Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Oh, a classic amongst controversial games of its time, or just the series as a whole. You know, stealing cars and robbing banks. Like, it's a fun game to play with friends, but morally, I don't know if I can suggest it.
It's one of those, the more mom and dad hate it, the more we want to play it.
Exactly. When I was, I don't know, quite young again, PlayStation 1, my aunt actually bought me the first Grand Theft Auto, thinking it was just a racing game.
Sure.
Before she realized these games have ratings. It was rated M, and I was like 10.
Like, it's a video game. It's for kids, right?
It's fine. There's a car on the front. It must be about racing.
That's like, it's a cartoon. It's for kids.
Yeah, we had to return that one really quick.
And number 1, not too surprising, you actually called this when we were first looking at this article, even before it came up, Minecraft.
Yeah. I love it. I've put way too many hours into Minecraft and modded Minecraft and all the possibilities and renditions of it.
I just remember one time in the news seeing that someone had constructed a meatball so large in Minecraft. It was like a floating meatball. And it was so big that they even put it in the news.
Oh, that's funny. I've actually heard it's been used as a way to share library information. There were countries where information was like locked down, say like China, where information is very controlled. There was a server that made a library, and you can create books in Minecraft.
Really?
And people would type out and create a virtual library for people like that who don't have access to information to come in and read.
That's insane.
It is crazy. Think of it like missionaries could use that somehow.
Right. Or
Put copies
spies.
of the Bible.
Like
Or
spy
spies.
stuff.
Exactly. Transferring information through a video game like that. Ooh, that could get a little scary.
Wow. That takes the whole secret passage thing to a new level. Like,
oh, yeah, definitely.
built a castle, built a secret passage in my virtual castle to my hidden library where I put my covert books.
Exactly. In a video game.
Yeah. That's nuts.
Yeah.
So you've played a lot of VR games.
I played a handful.
A handful.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorites?
So my favorite, let's see, Beat Saber is great. It's a rhythm game where you basically have lightsabers and you're cutting blocks to a rhythm of a song. I Expect You to Die is a great one. It's basically an escape room, except you're a James Bond-like agent sitting in a chair, figuring out a puzzle around you. Mm-hmm. And if you don't escape it in time, you end up dying, which happens a lot. There's Minecraft is even in VR now, where you can experience that world all within VR. Super Hot. I had you play it at one point. You came over and played. That's where if you move, your enemies will move, and you feel like you are in the Matrix.
Yes.
Where everything is in slow motion, dodging bullets and firing back at your weird polygonal. Yeah, that's what they call that. Enemies as they're trying to take you down too.
That one was pretty crazy. It's almost like a puzzle because figuring out what exactly to do in the short amount of time you have before your enemies get to you.
To time the dodge of
Yeah.
when it's going to come and where's that shotgun blast going? You know,
Right,
that sort of
right.
thing. It's really fun. It's a good time. It's a great way to, like we were talking with the Wii, it's a great exercise. Beat Saber, my arms are sore when I'm done with that.
So playing VR kind of begs the question, what is reality? And there are even some scientists who think maybe all of the reality we experience is almost like a virtual reality. To me, I think like once you get to the point where you can create your own virtual reality, it's not as crazy of a stretch to think maybe the reality we're in is a virtual reality.
That's very true. I mean, when you're playing a VR game, you do feel like you're in a completely new place. You can experience scale. You can see the ocean. You can experience fear and heights and excitement and everything else that real life could give us.
And from a Christian perspective, you've got God speaking the world into existence in the creation account. And, well, words are information. So if reality started with information that came out of God's imagination, it's really not that far-flung of an idea. And I know some of the things I've seen online are like, well, maybe a super advanced alien civilization created the reality we're experiencing. And, it gets getting a little science fiction-y.
Maybe we are in the Matrix.
But for me, as a Christian, I don't think it's as crazy of an idea as it comes off it. I do believe in an actual reality, but to think of our reality as a created thing is an idea I'm pretty used to.
Exactly.
So it's kind of cool to see it in the science world coming out.
Right.
Yeah.
God's playing The Sims.
Right.
Is he controlling us? Well, you got to ask the Calvinists about that.
Stay tuned next week for all the answers to life's deepest questions. Well, it's fun talking about all these video games, and now the video games are getting movies.
Yeah.
And it seems like, at least, it used to be that the video game was like the secondary thing. Like the movie was the primary thing, or the book maybe. It's like a book to a movie, and then maybe you get a video game if you're lucky. Well, now it's completely the opposite. The video game is the big thing, and the other stuff is just getting added.
Exactly, like the Mario movie. Mario's been around for years, and they just now made a movie about it. I guess there were like movies that came out in the 90s.
Uh-huh.
I think that were pretty bad for its time.
Yeah.
But still.
But there are a whole bunch of them now coming out, shows and movies. So that's going to be our topic for next week. But just off the top of our head,
Excited for it.
I put down this list that Ethan and I came up with. Halo, that came out last year, the first season. Second season's out now. The Last of Us was a big one. Monster Hunter, which I wanted to see but didn't see.
Yeah, I don't really know much about it. Maybe I'll watch an episode.
I think it was kind of a passion project for the director, and it's kind of got a cult following. Anyway, Fallout, BioShock, and, not surprising, Minecraft.
Voiced by Jack Black again.
Which was good news for me. That's exciting. I like Jack Black. Well, if you're listening, don't forget to like and subscribe to the show. It really helps us out a lot. You can connect with us through our website, nerdyfolks.com. And until next time, and as always, love you, take care, God bless, bye-bye.